Hey guys, it's Mike coming back with a SGC reveal video. Uh, got this in today. I didn't think there was a chance I'd get this in before the National, but I did. They had a special on their 10-day submission, and it was exactly 10 days. This coming after last submission I did was like a 20-day submission, and it took like 6 weeks. So very impressed. I think what they're doing is SGC has got a lot going on at the National this year. They're going to showcase their new product, their new grading system, their new grading everything. And I think they're doing some specials. If you're a member of Net54, you can actually bring your cards in. They will charge you the standard grading at the show and then ship them to you within a couple weeks after the show for free. Which, if I'd known that, I might have just held on to these and took them to the show. But I do have them now. I always see these BGS reveal videos and see all these new 9.5 gold labels, and so I get a kick out of doing my little SGC. Kind of a mix of new and vintage. Joey brings it. Joey, I think you'll like this. It's got some real nice vintage in it. Hank and Johnny. So I'm going to crack this open. And a couple of other cards to show you. I've showed a couple of these on Facebook, and one of them I got. This is a definitive this year. This is the gold framed definitive auto, numbered to 5 for Johnny. And I'll be honest, that's one of my favorite pictures of him ever. And that's one of my favorite looking cards ever, with the purple background. That's a beauty right there. Museum Collection does their framed every year in 5, 10, and 15. This is the first one I've got. This is the one numbered to 15. Silver frame with the silver ink, numbered to 15. Beautiful. And one I haven't showed on Facebook yet. I just got in yesterday and didn't have a chance to post. If you all follow Heritage at all, you know how expensive those cards are. And to be honest, when the new Heritage comes out, I just plan on waiting about 6 months to a year and try to buy them then after the prices have dropped down to at least a decent level. They're always going to be expensive because there's so many people who buy Heritage and put the sets together and get the subsets. But this is the real one, red autograph to 25, number 17 of 25. And of course, with Bench being on the Reds, the red autograph was something else. And I just got this one in yesterday. I think I've got the red autograph for every year since they've been doing them for Heritage. And that is a beauty. That's a remake of his 1969 card, which is the year they're on now. And the red is beautiful on here. It didn't really show great on my little live cam, but it's a beautiful card. It's fantastic. And I did get a fairly good price on it, so I was happy with that. And so I'm going to crack into this and I guess talk a little National while I'm doing it. I can't believe it's today's Saturday. 4 days from now? That's crazy. I'll be heading up there Wednesday morning early. And I'll be there, me and my buddy Brian. You don't know him on here. Me and him collect Hank. He's the senior Hank collector. He's been doing it for a lot longer than I have, and he's got some amazing stuff. He just put out a video of what he's going to try to get cross-graded at SGC, so you already check that out if you get a chance. One of my cards didn't cross over. That's okay. It was a Beckett card, so I'm not surprised. In their half-ass grading system. Sorry for all you Beckett people, but I'm just not big with the Beckett. And this is unusual. They always have tons of peanuts instead of these type of packages. So we got one package, box, which is very unusual for them. And then I got a couple of big ones, but maybe just one. Let's start with this one. I think we're staying at the Courtyard Marriott. I'll be getting there Wednesday, and Brian will be getting there Wednesday, so we'll try to get over to the convention center, meet up with all you guys, Joey, Everett, all of y'all, probably mid-afternoon. I know the sneak peek opens at 4 o'clock. I'm not doing the VIP. Oh, that's nice. I don't know why they use such a big holder for this thing. That's just the way they do it, though. This is a 1970 Top Super, graded 88, near mint. These are very hard to get in mint condition, especially, there's been a lot of debate on here about the new SGC and relating to PSA and all that. The thing I'll say from my experience, and I've crossed over a lot of cards over the years, is mid-grade, I would say like from anywhere I've had from 4 to 7s and 8s maybe. PSA crosses over to SGC pretty good, pretty much an even keel. The thing where the SGC differs from PSA and especially Beckett is on their mint cards. To get a 9 mints from SGC is much harder than super hard if you compare a Beckett one to it, and very hard for PSA. Since Bench has some more modern stuff, so to speak, like in the 70s and 80s, which people still think of more, SGC doesn't do that. They send them to PSA. And for me to get a crossover to a 9 is the only way I can find these cards is to buy a 9 from PSA and try to cross it over to SGC for a 9. And I would say maybe if it's 9 or a 10, they might cross over from PSA to SGC maybe 1 out of 3 times, I would say. If it's like a 4, 5, 6, I'd say 9 times out of 10 they'll cross over. 8s are kind of in between. But that's the main difference I see as far as the grading. I think SGC is the hardest graders, toughest graders. Their new system will be interesting with 9.5 and going after the same numbering system. I'm just going to miss the green. That's just them as the green label. But this is a 1970 Top Super Johnny Bench. The holder is huge. I don't know why they couldn't fit in a smaller one. It is a thick card though, so maybe they have to go with a bigger one. But these came out in 1970. And they're probably almost the size of a postcard, real thick. Got stats on the back. But this is a super nice piece. I've got they did them in 71 also, 69 also, and I got that one already in an 8. The only card of Benches in his regular issue, there's 2 of them. I needed a 1975 mini regular issue and a 9, and I needed the 74. The 74, they've only graded 1 card as a 96, which is a mint 9 compared to PSA. I've got a 92. I've tried to send out a couple 1974 PSA 9s to SGC. And they're expensive. You have to pay a lot of money up front to get the card and then send it. And both times, I've done it 2 or 3 times. Every time they've said they've refused to grade it a 9. And that's the minimum grade I would accept, because if it don't convert over to a 9 for SGC, I just relist it on eBay and sell it again and try to get my money back, or sometimes I actually make a few bucks out of it. But I got a 92, which is an 8.5 of his 74 card, and I got the 75 mini I've never been able to get cross-graded over to a 9 also until today. You're going to see that in just a little bit, which is super. I was super pumped on that. Alright, let's see here. I'm going to open this box up. I've never seen them send a box before. This looks eerily like Beckett or something here. But if you're going to the Nets, put your name down below. And I'd love to, me and Brian would love to see all our YouTube buddies on here. Joey, Everett, whoever. I know a lot of guys aren't going this year. I've talked to quite a few that I saw last year that aren't going. Michael and Chris and Bradley, and I'm going to leave people out. Garrett, of course, couldn't go. But I was really, really surprised. There's a lot of guys not going this year. So I hope everybody will be meeting up in Chicago again next year. Alright, let's get started here. This was a gift from my buddy Brian, actually. A 2002 Topps Tribute. Greenberg and Richie Ashburn dual back cards. Rated a 92. It's an 8.5. And I really don't do the Greenbergs as so much for the grade as much as I do a SGC registry set. And you gotta have them, of course, graded. And so this will go in the registry set. And of all the things SGC's doing, personally, I'd rather they kept their 100-point system. I like that. But they're supposed to revamp their registry set, which is really lagging behind PSA. And from what I've talked to a couple of guys I know over there, it's going to be just as good as PSA. So that's what I'm really excited, is to get my registry set really not looking good. Anyway, that's the 2002 Topps Tribute, a very rare card. It's not numbered, but you never see it. It might pop up once a year on average, I'd say. The early tribute sets are just wonderful sets. This is a 2017 Panini. This is a National Treasures, numbered 4 out of 10. This guy an 88, which is an 8. Again, to me, that's a super grade. Most of the cards you're going to see Hank on are relic cards, and they're super thick. And as you know, super thick cards are just hard to grade as far as mint condition and stuff like that. This one is beautiful. These flawless, they do different low numbers. Now they're crazy. They do 1 out of 3 and 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 7 and 1 out of 10 and 1 out of 15. And they in the whole of it, they end up making 50 relic cards of the same thing, but they're all different colors. So since his name's Greenberg, I always like trying to get the green cards. Unfortunately, this one's numbered 1 out of 3, so it's a lot harder. I had to be patient to find this and pay a little extra. It came out in 92, which is an 8.5. It's got Paul Wainer and Wee Willie Keeler on it. And I think that's just a beautiful card. You got the green label, the green flawless, the green boxes, and the Greenberg. So that's very nice. Next is a card 2015 Panini Cooperstown. And these are the Armed Forces cards, which I assume they did a lot of different players. This is the gold version, which is on a rainbow foil type thing. Numbered 5 out of 25, jersey number. And it's an 88 also, which I'm very happy with. But I love anything with a picture of the old timers in uniform, because I really respect the hell out of them for what they left. They had to leave behind and go fight for the country, our country, and I just really respect them so much. And Hank was one of the first. He was the first American leaguer I know to sign up. Might have been the first. I'm not for sure overall. Interesting thing about Hank was he enrolled. He signed up in 41 and was like for 6 months. He got discharged right before Pearl Harbor, the day before, and the next day was Pearl Harbor. And 2 days later, he re-enrolled and served another, I think, right around 3 more years. He didn't come back into Well, 3.5. He didn't come. That was in January of 42, and he missed 42, 43, 44, and came back in July of 45. So he missed another 3.5 years. So he missed nearly over 4 years to the service. These are really pretty. My camera's not going to pick up the shine, but these are only numbered to 25, and they got a nice foil to them. But I love the old timers in their uniforms. Next, I'll put the vintage off to the side. Oh. All right. This is a Hank from 2008 SP Legendary Cuts, numbered to 5 out of 10. These cards are not in the Beckett system at all. I think they lost their license to put his image on cards, and I think these were recalled. Never supposed to be released. They're very hard to find. There's a lot of different color variations. This is like a purplish or lavender or something like that, numbered to 10. And I've got like 5 different color variations for this card, and none of the databases mention them. So I think these were probably recalled because they didn't renew their rights to use his image on cards. It's a great picture too. But I try to snag these up whenever I see a different color variation. 2010 Topps Triple Threads, a Sapphire out of 25, 92 and 8.5. Weird looking pose when they just Photoshop it, just use him standing there. This is another Panini. This is National Treasure's Dual Relic, cut out of 63 when he had 63 doubles in 1934. This is numbered 3 out of 5. I'm not a big Panini fan, as you all probably know. I like Topps. I don't like the no logos. If they can hide it real well, I don't mind it. But when the cap just looks right at you and there's nothing on it, I just kind of don't care too much for that. Alright, and this is a 2008 SP Legendary Cuts. This is out at near the end of Legendary Cuts. Went from like 2002 to 2009 or 10. And by 2008, they had lost their, which I showed you that other card, which they weren't supposed to use his image, and they did. This is one where they didn't use his image for 2008. It's numbered 2 out of 4, so it's a super short print. It's not the best autograph either. It's just an index card they used. I could show you some just beautiful SP cuts. But low number, 2 out of 4, and I didn't have it. So I went ahead and grabbed that one. Alright, let's see here. I'm going to save that one for last. I don't mean to take up your all's time, but I just love my SGC submissions. Hope I find something to cross over or to get graded at the show. Usually, if I'm lucky to find 2 or 3 cards when I get to them. It's more about what everybody else says. It's more about just seeing you guys is the bottom line. Let me see here. Yeah, those are sweet. All right, let's see here. I'm going to. All I got left now is cuts and vintage, so we'll do that. This is a card that I don't know if I bought this or Brian or someone bought this maybe for me. This is a 1971 Topps Johnny Bench. It's not in great shape, but that's okay because it is hand signed. And I don't know if the ink pen's going to pick up. The vintage autographs for Bench are very, very, very hard to find. On cards, they hardly ever show up. This is a 71, and if you can see, Johnny Bench and ink pen That is a pretty vintage autograph. I would say if it's not 71, it's probably before 75, I would guess. It might be 71. That's just a really, really nice autograph. And I've been wanting to cross-grade this for a long time and finally got around to it. This is my last Johnny. This is amazing. This is only the second Mint 9, 96 Mint 9 that SGC has graded for a 1975 Topps Mini. If y'all know anything about the 75 Topps, they had a regular set, and then they also made a mini set. And the mini set is much harder to get in high grade. And this, they've only had graded one before this, and I got a PSA 9. A guy listed it as, and he listed it as the regular card, and it was the mini. And I got it for a great price because the mini sells for at least twice as much as what the regular card sells for, especially in high grade. And this one crossed over to a 96.9, and I'm just super pumped because that is amazing. That's a 1975 Topps Mini Johnny Bench, graded a 96 Mint 9. And that is just beautiful. The camera's probably not going to pick this up too great. It's just, I sent it in. I was not expecting this one to cross over. Because like I said, I've sent a lot of 9 PSAs over to SGC and they just don't, it's really hard to get them to do it. So I'm just super pumped on that one. Beautiful, beautiful car. Alright, just got a few more pieces to show. This is a 1963 Bazooka Greats, the silver version, which I assume is a little shorter printed than the regular. And this is graded in 80 Excellent Mint 6. I think I sent this in a PSA holder that was a 7. And I know how SGC is, and I don't want them to send back the card if I'm happier with the lower grade. So I said I always usually accept one grade below if it's like a mid-grade or upper middle grade. So it was a PSA 7, a near mint, and I said I'd take a 6 on it if minimum. And they sent it back as an extra Excellent Mint 6, an 80. I don't care what you all say. These cars, anything with, especially the white border, they just look so nice in the SGC frame. I think they're beautiful. Very nice. And this leaves me a few more. I'll let you all go here. This is a postcard. And it's a pretty exceptional one, too. This one says, "Best wishes, Hank Greenberg." It says it's a photograph, which is actually correct. And this is... let's see if I can get a better... Yeah, there we go. "Best wishes, Hank Greenberg." Nice batting pose. And if you look on the back, I don't know how many of you all know much about the history of photography and baseball, but George Burke was the big, and Conlon and Burke were the big early photographers in baseball. Conlon would be the original. Then Burke took over, and later in the 30s and 40s, and then in the 50s and 60s, Brace bought out most of the inventory that Burke had. And this is a George Brace photo. And you could always tell, because he just sold the photos, you could buy them directly from him in Chicago. And on the back, they've got a stamp. It's a George Brace photo, Chicago. And you can't see it, but the type of paper it's on, you can tell the date on it. And it looks like this is one that was made, I looked it up, did the research on it. It was from the early to mid 50s. So this is an autograph shortly after he retired, within probably 10 years of retirement. And that's another thing. I love autographs of Hank from any period, but the hardest ones to get, of course, are the ones that he signed while he actually played or right after. So anytime I can try to get a vintage autograph, I love getting them. Case in point, I saw some guy that was selling a autograph book. Back in the 30s and 40s, that was very popular for people to have autograph books, and they just had pages of paper in them, which people would take them to the ball game, and if you saw any celebrity anywhere eating dinner, whatever, you just walk up and they sign your book for you. Very convenient. And this one here is the person wrote on the back, April 20th, 1937, opening game. So theoretically, and there's no reason to think it's not, this is the autograph he got from Hank on April 20th, 1937. First game of the year in the 1937 season. And these type of things are markers to let me know how his signature has changed. Because he used that kind of a sharp, bright, instead of a loop, he used a sharp curve back to the left. It's a pencil autograph, and it still looks fantastic on that blue page. That's a vintage 1937 autograph. And these type things I just love. I just love when it's something he signed during his playing days. Alright, it leaves two. I'm going to save the super vintage one for last. Anybody collects Hank from like the or not Hank, but cards. I mean, I know a few of the guys on here have some Perez Steel collections. This is a 1980 Perez Steel Hank Greenberg. And I got a super deal on it. It was raw. And didn't have a good picture of it. And his autograph by the 80s was he was getting up there. He was, in 1980, he would have been at least 69. And he probably signed most of these in the early 80s when he was in the 70s. And he used a thick black marker on a lot of them, and they don't look really good. They're not very distinguished from one another because they're so thick you can't see any detail. But this one he did in blue, and Brian's got one he got last year at the National as a gift, and it is gorgeous. I don't think this one's quite as good as that one, but this is really nice. But it's kind of, when you collect a vintage player, you've almost got to get a Perez Steel. That was kind of like the thing. That's what you want out of as far as an autograph. You definitely want one of these in your collection because the artwork was fantastic. They made like 10,000 of these. This is number 4793. They weren't ever autographed officially, but people sent these to the Stars back in the 80s to get autographs for because the artwork was so nice. And the autograph is really, really nice on this one. Blue really sticks out. Whereas the black ones kind of get lost in the uniform and stuff. Picture. That came out just gorgeous right there. And the last one I got is really a rare card. I got this for a great price too. This is a 1936 Gaudi wide pen R314. They had 5 variations of this card, and 1 and 4 are pretty common. 2 and 3, 3's uncommon. 2's hard to get, very hard to get, and the 5 is nearly impossible to get. But this is the Type 2, and again, I bought it as raw. You didn't know for sure what you were getting as far as condition. And it looked good when I got it, and it graded a 50, a very good, excellent 4, which, again, if you're a modern guy, you think in terms of 9s and 10s and maybe an 8. But in vintage terms, for a card that's 82 years old, a 50 is actually, this is the highest graded one that SGC is graded for a Type 2, and this is only the 4th one they graded. So it tells you something about how rare they are. This is the 1936 Gaudi wide pen Type 2, graded a 50, and it's just beautiful. came out just gorgeous. All right, you saw my. It's just. This is awesome. It just makes me want to go to the National and buy some more stuff. Hopefully, I'll find a few more pieces for the collection. But for you guys that are going, let me know down here. I want to definitely try to hook up. Most of the years we go at the nighttime, we'll hook up at a hotel or something, and we'll just talk cars, break boxes, have some drinks, eat dinner, all that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. Seeing Brian. I see Brian once a year because he lives up in New York, and I'm in Kentucky, and we get to talk Greenberg face to face for a change. So Brian, I'm looking forward to seeing you, buddy, and everybody else. Again, thanks for watching, and if you're at the National, let me know below. And if you can't go, I hope to see you, Lord willing, next year in Chicago. Thanks a lot, and y'all take care. Bye-bye.